Welcome back. It's time now for some business news from the Money Desk with Rofhiwa Madzena. Rofhiwa, I see that Eskom is given some rope to hike their prices.
And that's unfortunate for consumers who should brace themselves for an increase in electricity tariffs. Energy regulator NERSA has allowed Eskom to recover an extra 6 billion rand from consumers. Now, this after the court ordered NERSA to review previous decisions. The tariffs relate to a price structure application made by Eskom for the 3 financial years from 2014 to 2017, as well as a supplementary revenue application for 2018-2019. Joining me now to break this down is energy analyst Chris Yelland. Chris, many thanks for your time this afternoon. Perhaps just remind us of that court application that led to NERSA having to relook at the methodology in which they determine those price tariffs for Eskom.
Yes, this court action took place last year, and it really reviewed some determinations that Eskom had made, that NERSA had made in respect of Eskom's price applications, for dating back to 2014-15, and came to the decision that NERSA hadn't applied its methodology correctly, and it sent this back to NERSA for rework. And today, NERSA announced the results of this rework, and that is that it was going to allow Eskom to recover an additional 6 billion rand from customers via the tariff, effectively by allowing Eskom to put up the price of electricity by an additional 2.5 or so percentage points over and above the 8.2% that had been expected on the 1st of April this year anyway. So really we're looking at a price increase now of between 10 and 11% on the 1st of April. The exact amount is still uncertain because it depends on whether NERSA allows Eskom to recover the 6 billion rand over 2 years or over 1 year, and that decision will be announced at the end of February. But short and tall of it is we're in for a price increase more than double the inflation rate on the 1st of April 2021.
And it's unfortunate, Chris, because I was listening in on that briefing by NERSA earlier this afternoon, and the team there highlighting that Eskom cannot continue to rely on exorbitant increases, and they need to deal with one of the big issues, which is the sales. They haven't been able to sell enough, and it's not good enough that they would just approach NERSA to mitigate those that lost revenue in sales that were never made.
Yes, you're quite right. The point is that you cannot solve Eskom's problems simply by putting up the price of electricity. Because ultimately, by putting up the price of electricity, you result in declining sales volumes. So you're trying to increase your revenue, but you put up your prices and you end up by decreasing your sales volumes as people start making other arrangements, as theft and non-payment of electricity soars, and as the alternatives or the business case for alternative energy sources becomes better and better, and people then move off-grid or move to alternative energy sources. So really, NERSA pointed out this in a graph that showed Eskom's rising prices over the last decade and the corresponding declining sales volumes over the last decade, pointing out clearly that there is some kind of correlation between the two.
Right, and it's not something that's going to change. I mean, earlier this week, the president, speaking at the World Economic Forum, spoke about the fact that we need to break the Eskom monopoly. And so we are expecting that more power producers are going to be coming to the fore. And I really don't know then what this would mean for Eskom, if it would be ultimately good or bad.
Well, ultimately, things cannot carry on as they are. As I say, you can't just carry on putting up the prices. There is a problem. Eskom is unsustainable financially, operationally, environmentally, and structurally. And ultimately, I believe that Eskom needs to fundamentally restructure, downsize its business suitably, and encourage a more diverse and competitive electricity generation sector that's going to include the former Eskom generators, but also include many, many hundreds, if not thousands, of other generators, big, medium, and small, that can all participate in this new electricity world. And I believe Eskom has got to morph and change from its current monopoly to be a much downsized entity that operates the grid and facilitates trading of electricity between buyers and sellers through an electricity market and through bilateral trading using the grid to wheel electricity from generators to creditworthy customers.
Chris Yelland, as always, many thanks for your time. What's also going to be important, I must just mention, is the outcome of a court hearing that's set for tomorrow, and that is an application that was made by Eskom for an additional 123 billion rand. So we'll hear that outcome tomorrow.